Once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage at the edge of a big green forest, lived a sweet little girl. Everyone who met her loved her, but her grandmother loved her most of all. One day, her grandmother gave her a beautiful little cap made of red velvet. It suited her so well that she wouldn't wear anything else, and so everyone started calling her Little Red Riding Hood. One sunny morning, her mother called her and said, "Little Red Riding Hood, here is a piece of cake and a bottle of juice. Take them to your grandmother. She is feeling a bit under the weather, and this will do her good. Now, be careful on your way. Stay on the path and don't talk to strangers. Walk nicely and don't run, or you might drop the bottle and the cake, and then Grandma will have nothing." Little Red Riding Hood promised her mother she would be very careful. She took the basket, waved goodbye, and set off on her adventure. Her grandmother lived deep in the forest, about a half-hour's walk from the village. As Little Red Riding Hood skipped into the forest, the birds were singing, the sun was peeking through the leaves, and everything was bright and cheerful. She hadn't gone very far when she met a wolf. Now, Little Red Riding Hood didn't know that wolves could be dangerous, so she wasn't scared at all. "Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood," said the wolf with a wide, toothy grin. "Good morning, Mr. Wolf," she replied politely. "And where are you off to so early in the morning?" asked the wolf, trying to sound friendly. "I'm on my way to my grandmother's house," she said. "And what's that you have in your basket?" he asked, his eyes glinting. "Oh, some cake and juice," she explained. "We baked yesterday, and my grandmother isn't feeling well, so I'm bringing her something nice to make her feel better." "How wonderful! And where does your grandmother live, my dear?" the wolf asked, inching a little closer. "She lives a bit further into the forest," Little Red Riding Hood said, pointing with her finger. "Her house is under the 3 big oak trees. You can't miss it. There are hazel bushes all around it." The wolf thought to himself, "Mud, what a tender young creature. She'll be much tastier than the old woman. I need to be clever so I can catch them both." So he walked alongside Little Red Riding Hood for a little while and then said, "Little Red Riding Hood, look at all the pretty flowers blooming all around you. Why don't you look around a bit? I bet you can hear how beautifully the little birds are singing. You're walking so seriously as if you're on your way to school. The forest is so beautiful today." Little Red Riding Hood looked up, and she saw the sunbeams dancing through the trees and beautiful flowers everywhere. She thought Grandma would be so happy if I brought her a fresh bouquet of flowers. It's still early. I'll have plenty of time to get to her house before lunchtime, so she stepped off the path and into the woods to pick some flowers. But whenever she picked one, she saw an even prettier one a little further away, and she ran after it, going deeper and deeper into the forest. She gathered a huge, colorful bunch of wildflowers. Meanwhile, the clever wolf didn't waste a single second. He ran straight to the grandmother's house and knocked on the door. "Who's there?" called out the grandmother from her bed. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood," said the wolf, trying to make his voice sound high and sweet like a little girl's. "I've brought you some cake and juice. Please open the door." "Oh, just lift the latch, my dear," the grandmother called back. "I'm too weak to get up." The wolf lifted the latch, the door swung open, and without saying a word, he went straight to the grandmother's bed and gobbled her all up in one big gulp. Then he put on her nightgown and her cap, pulled the curtains around the bed, and lay down to wait for Little Red Riding Hood. By now, Little Red Riding Hood had picked so many flowers that she couldn't carry any more. She suddenly remembered her grandmother and hurried back to the path. She was surprised when she got to the house because the door was wide open. As she walked inside, everything felt strange and a little spooky. She felt a shiver run down her spine, though she usually loved visiting her grandma. She called out, "Good morning," but nobody answered. So she went to the bedroom and pulled back the curtains. There lay her grandmother, but she looked very, very strange. Her cap was pulled down low over her face. "Oh, Grandma," she said, "what big ears you have! All the better to hear you with." "My dear," replied the wolf in a scratchy voice. "And Grandma, what big eyes you have!" she said. "All the better to see you with, my dear," the wolf said. "Grandma, what big hands you have! All the better to hug you with, my dear. But Grandma, what a terribly big mouth you have! All the better to eat you with." And with that, the wolf leaped out of bed and gobbled up poor Little Red Riding Hood in one bite. With his tummy full, the wolf felt very sleepy. He climbed back into the bed, fell fast asleep, and began to snore very, very loudly. A little while later, a woodsman was passing by the cottage. He heard the loud snoring and thought, "My goodness, the old woman is snoring so loudly. I should probably check if she's all right." He went inside and walked to the bedroom. And there, lying in the bed, was the wolf. "So, I've found you at last, you old rascal," he said. He was about to take action when he noticed the wolf's huge, bulging belly. He thought, "Maybe the wolf has eaten the grandmother and I can still save her." So, instead of anything else, he grabbed a pair of scissors and carefully started to snip open the sleeping wolf's tummy. After just a few snips, he saw a little red cap peeking out. He snipped a little more, and out jumped Little Red Riding Hood, crying, "Oh, I was so scared. It was so dark inside the wolf." And then out came the grandmother, alive but very out of breath. Little Red Riding Hood quickly ran outside and gathered some big, heavy stones. They filled the wolf's belly with the stones. When the wolf finally woke up, he felt very strange and tried to run away. But the stones were so heavy that he immediately fell down, and that was the end of him. Everyone was overjoyed. The woodsman took the wolf's fur. The grandmother ate the cake and drank the juice that Little Red Riding Hood had brought, and she felt much better. And as for Little Red Riding Hood, she thought to herself, "I will never, ever wander off the path into the woods again when my mother has told me not to." From that day on, she always listened to her mother, stayed on the path, and lived happily ever after. And that's the story of Little Red Riding Hood. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more wonderful stories. See you next time.